Oh my god. If anyone is interested, I am in fact wearing pajama pants. Literally what about it. Okay, hey everyone, it's Sunny. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I feel like I haven't done like a book recommendation video in such a long time. Also, I'm crying and throwing up a little bit just making videos in general because school started. Tell me how slowly the second week of school. Literally nothing has happened, but why am I stressed out? Why am I stressed out? But anyway, today's book recommendation video, I'm sorry that it's so late. I made the first part of this video ages ago. I made a TikTok book recommendations that will get you addicted to reading video a long time ago. Since then, I kept saying I have enough books that I can make a whole new recommendation video, but I just never got around to it. So I'm sorry, this is that video. So I've compiled all, oh my god, this freaking fly! Compiled all of them, and I'm here to tell you which ones you should read. I feel like each of them will satisfy like a different craving, so I'll tell you what the craving is too. The first one is a classic sports romance. I'm gonna combine it with like sports romance and also enemies to lovers, which is From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata, the first and only Mariana Zapata book that I've read. Everyone has told me like to read it because she's like the queen of slow burn romances, and I love a slow burn romance so much. Like there's like no such thing as too slow of a burn. If you've like been here, you know me, then you know that. If a couple literally never gets together, it becomes like my favorite book of all time. So that's my toxic trait. Her books are really thick though, so you have to kind of make a commitment, but I read this in like one night or 2 nights. It's about our main character, Jasmine, and she loves skating, but is like, unfortunately, her skating career is like really taking a hit. Like she's really not, it's like really plateauing. She ends up being offered to be the partner of this very, very well-known like champion figure skater named Ivan Lukov, whom she hates. They have like an enemies to lovers relationship type beat. They have that banter. They have like middle school banter, like that kind of banter. Ivan Lukov is so fine. This man is so fine. For what? I was picturing him as Austin Stowell from The Hating Game. Literally the feminine urge to cast like the last white man I saw on television as like every other white male character that I read in books. Anyway, they become partners. Obviously, they fall in love. First of all, I could not really care less about the figure skating. I didn't care that much about that. It was about their relationship and like their banter. And like I said, it's very, very slow burn. Like I feel like 91% into the book, like they were still in the friend zone with each other. And that is the stuff that I like to see. But they definitely had like moments and like tension sporadically in between there. And like just the moments that he would be like soft, you know what I mean? Like it's giving like the banter, I hate you, then when she like is actually vulnerable, he's like, oh shoot, like I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Those kind of moments. And there's like taking care of someone while they're sick trope. I love the trope so much. There's a scene where she's having a little breakdown in the middle of the skating rink, in like the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. Oh my gosh, midnight, it's October 21st. Guys, sorry, that's not what this video is about, but I never forget my mission. I'm just spreading the Taylor Swift agenda. You never get a day off. And then he comes and he gives her like this Hershey. Tell me why that is like the most attractive thing I've ever read in a book ever. When he just like goes skates to the middle of the arena, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out like a Hershey kiss and gives it to her. Oh my gosh, I read that, I was losing my mind. I was like, so just disgusting and abhorrent that is not happening to me right now. Oh my gosh, the lighting is changing. Oh my god. Anyway, and this is like not Grumpy Sunshine, it's like Grumpy Grumpy. Like both of them are like on their last straw, as they should. The next book is if you're craving like a mystery type situation, like a mystery book, I would recommend A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I definitely wouldn't have read this book if I didn't see it on TikTok everywhere. I feel like in terms of mysteries, it's like a pretty easy one. Our main character is a girl named Pippa. She's like been very, very obsessed with like this cold case that happened in her town. Not really a cold case, like someone was convicted for the murder of this girl at her school, but she has just like never believed that it was actually him. She thinks that he was framed, and so she's like working tirelessly to like actually solve what happened like so many years ago. And it's really cool. You follow like a case format. I don't really know how to explain it. Like she's doing this for like a project, and so she has like multimedia. I feel like you see like interview transcripts, other files. There's like a subplot of a romance. It's like so subplot, very, very, very subplot, which is actually why I liked it. So it's like very, very quick to get through. If you want like a fast, easy mystery book, then try reading Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The author is Holly Jackson. I forget if I said that. The next book / book series I would recommend is for if you want like a fun, not fun, because that's actually quite terrible, the things that happen in this book sometimes. But if you want like summery vibe, innocent love, then I'll definitely recommend the Summer series, obviously by Jenny Han. The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. The series is so popular because of the Amazon Prime TV series, so if everyone knows like what this book series is. Actually, people have asked me before, oh, would you recommend that I read the books first before I watch the show? And I always say the same thing, which is like, if you want, then yeah, I guess, but if you don't want to, it's also okay to not. You know, some people feel very strongly about like you have to read the book, the original source, before you like watch the adaptation and stuff. I'm like so neutral about it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Yeah, the summer series, obviously, if you don't know, it's like classic beach house romance, like love triangle between brothers situation. We have Belly and then the family that she's really close to with the two brothers, Conrad and Jeremiah. And then it like really takes like a turn in the first book. Like it becomes like quite serious, and then it talks about definitely very serious topics. So definitely things like death of a parent and grief. If you're like not trying to read that, then like don't read the series. But as a whole though, these books are really easy to read and very quick to binge, because I swear to God that each chapter is like 2 sticky notes. Like each chapter is so short and it like bounces timelines. In like the second and third book, you get like different POVs because the first book is all just Belly's POV. Everyone's been friends since childhood. Just get messy because people are in their prime developmental years, and it talks a lot about first love, crushes, and platonic love. Just growing up, it's like a little bit coming of age because Belly has now turned 16 and just people are treating her differently. And I feel like if you've been socialized as a girl, like you will really resonate with a lot of things that happen to her, because teenage girls really just can't be left alone to exist. Like, everyone just needs to leave this girl alone. She's being emotionally manipulated by disgusting men. Anyway, it's a fun book series though to binge. The next book that I want to recommend is if you want a crazy book. Like genuinely, like I was actually talking about this with one of my program mates because she told me that she read this book, and I was like, isn't this book the most insane book you've ever read in your entire life? Like, first of all, the scurriest book I've ever read. Second of all, it is just crazy and you think that it can't get any more wild, and then it does. It really does. That book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. Oh my god. Oh my god. This book had me wrapped around its finger. I was a simpleton while I was reading this book. I was literally being taken along for the ride, and it was great. Verity is about a woman, and she is like a struggling author, and then she gets commissioned to like finish this really famous author's book series after she like got into a car accident and has injuries and now can't finish the series. Her husband seeks our main character out, and so she goes to their lake house to like look at that woman's office and like try to pick up where she left off. The woman's name is Verity. Not our main character, the wife who got into the car accident. Like, oh my gosh, I literally get the jitters still when I'm thinking about it. This book is so freaking scary. Oh my god. Do not read this when you're home alone, literally. She finds like a manuscript. Oh my god. I don't even want to explain what this manuscript is or even like what even it's about, because I feel like you just need to go in and read it and like just be absolutely, oh my god, you just need to be thrown into a loop. It's literally so scary. Oh, this book is so messed up. Like, it really is. If you just want to read like the most insane book you've ever read in your life, then you have to read this book. The next book I want to recommend, if you're craving like a grumpy sunshine, like small town grumpy sunshine, I recommend reading The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I'm not the hugest fan of grumpy sunshine, so I didn't love this book that much, but I think if you love grumpy sunshine, you'll probably really like this book, because I feel like it has all the grumpy sunshine like subtropes that people also love, but I just personally don't love them that much. The reason that I love this book so much and I'll continue to promote it is because our main character is a gorgeous Torontonian, Ontarian, Canadian girl. That's why I actually really like this book. It was such a pleasant surprise being like, oh my gosh, she's from Toronto, that's crazy. Our main character, she ends up having to pack up everything and just go fly to like the middle of nowhere in Alaska, in like this small like lumberjack like town, because her father lives there. Her father that she's been estranged from because he has a terminal illness. She decides to go and like spend time with him. Obviously she's like from the city, Toronto, and she goes to like this literal middle of nowhere. Like you literally can't even reach it without one of those like little mini planes that like seats like one pilot and like one person and like a piece of gum. You know what I mean? Like one of those planes. Obviously she falls in love with the pilot, Jonah. Obviously they just like get off on like the wrong foot. He makes a lot of snap judgments about her. It's like that trope where like he is like the local, loves this small town, loves the small life, hates the city, thinks that she's like a posh princess, even though she's like literally just trying to like go be with her ailing father. Yeah, he needs to like calm down, take several seats. But the more that they get to know each other, and he's like, oh, actually I did make these snap judgments, they weren't correct, I'm very sorry. As he should be groveling. There's like a forced proximity trope because he ends up being her neighbor, and so he's the one who has to like show her the ropes of like what to do in this town, how to get around, that kind of stuff. He realizes that he is not what he first appeared to be. He's actually very sweet and cares about her father a lot. He's like very protective. So if you want something like that, Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I feel like I liked the vibe of the small town too. I think that was really fun. It made me low-key want to go to Alaska, because I'm like, oh, I can be the sunshine Toronto girl. I can do that. Next, or if you're craving like a dystopian, you know what I mean, like a very addictive dystopian romance, I recommend Shatter Me by Tira Mafi. I read this book series recently, binge read it, vlogged it, so if you want to, you can go watch that video. This book series is so hyped on TikTok. People love it so much. I can really understand why. It really gives me those TikTok book vibes. It's just like some of it is like a little bit ridiculous, but it's like in a fun way. There's like a love triangle again in it, and there's like I fell in love with the villain type vibe. When I was reading it, I was like, ew, why are people thirsting over this man man on TikTok. He's so toxic. I hate him. Red flags. And then by the end, I'm like, actually red is my favorite color. So if you want something like that, then definitely read Shatter Me. About a girl named Juliet, and she has the ability to like heal people by touching their skin, like skin to skin contact. Actually, I'm not gonna say anything more than that, but there's love triangle, and I'm a homie hopper till I die. The next book series is another Colleen Hoover. It's the Hopeless and Losing Hope like duology. I read Hopeless, that's like the first book, and I didn't love it that much, but then I decided to take the shot and read Losing Hope, and I loved Losing Hope. So I would actually recommend, there's just the delayed gratification of having to get through Hopeless for like that POV, that backstory. Like I think that it would make you really like Losing Hope, even if you didn't like Hopeless, because I didn't like Hopeless. Hopeless is about a girl named Sky. She meets a boy named Holder. There's like something up. The way that he's acting and like the way that she's just like, there's like something happening. I feel like in the first book, I was like kind of like thrown off because I didn't like the way that Holder was acting towards her. It was very much like, you're just a toxic, disgusting man. The plot twist in this book is like wild. I can't even explain what the trope of this book is because then it'll reveal the plot twist. The plot was just so interesting to me. That is like the reason that I decided to continue with Losing Hope, because Losing Hope is not like a sequel. It's like a companion. It's like the same timeline as Hopeless, but just from his point of view. After reading the first book and knowing what the plot twist is, it makes Losing Hope such a different experience. It's like not just the same story from different POV. Like it's not like a Twilight Midnight Sun situation. Sorry, not to dig at Twilight out of nowhere. It genuinely is like a new story, but I like it so much because it explains so much of why he was acting the way that he was, and then I get the it a little bit less. Just a little bit though. These two books, I don't read it because I'm like swooning over the guy or swooning over the romance. To me, that is just like a vehicle for the story of this book, like the actual plot and the plot twist, because it's so wild. That is why I would recommend this book. Okay, the next book is for if you want like a classic, like slow moving friends to strangers to lovers trope. You know, one of those, which is Before We Were Strangers. I feel like this book is also very hyped on TikTok, but I haven't heard many people talking about it like on YouTube actually. I follow Matt and Grace, and they became like besties like in college when they first met each other. You follow like dual timeline of them and now as like fully adults seeing each other on the subway randomly, like just by coincidence, which is crazy. That's like a 1 in a million chance incidence of that happening. But they glimpse each other on the subway and they're like, and they have to like try to find their way back to each other, and like you also at the same time are getting the past timeline of like what was happening and like why they became estranged, because they were so in love when they were in college. Their love story from when they were in college is honestly such a cute love story. Like they were so deeply in love. Oh my gosh, so deeply in love. The reason that they lost contact and like that whole thing happened is because of a miscommunication. So if you like don't like that trope, you would literally hate this book. Lucky for me is that I like am so neutral towards that trope, so I didn't mind it at all. It was a little bit underwhelming, I would say. I wish that it was a little bit more like elaborate than just that, because it seemed like such a juvenile wrench to throw in to such like a deep love story. But anywho, that is what happened. I personally just really like just reading the college flashback love story just all the way through, because I think that they just had such a deep love for each other. They're both artists, which is so disappointing to me because I'm like none of those things, and I'm in my final year of college and I still haven't met my Matt yet, so what's that about? And then the last book that I want to recommend in this video is for if you want to cry. Oh my gosh. Then I would recommend Full Tilt by Emma Scott. I read this book in my like reading sad books for a week vlog. I cried. This book, oh my gosh, it was so, I was actually dry heaving. Dual POV, it's giving right person, not enough time. Casey is like the lead guitarist to this like really up and coming band. I picture her as Ashley Benson, aka Hannah from Pretty Little Liars. And then we also have Jonah, another Jonah, the limo driver for her band, and they met because she ends up crashing at his house after like a wild night, and that's how their friendship starts. And just their chemistry right off the bat, like I was sold on their chemistry. Also, Jonah is like literally my type. He's like really nice, really polite, is a low-key artist, which I think is so, they strike up like an amazing friendship. But Jonah is like, obviously, you know what the trope is. He is like terminally ill, but like she doesn't know that. She's falling in love with him and he's falling in love with her, but he knows that he shouldn't do that because that's not fair, and there's just like so much conflict, and it's like so sad. And the ending, I like will never be not upset every time this trope happens, and like this kind of, oh my, crying, throwing up, dry heaving, screaming, projectile vomiting. Oh my god, it was so sad. I can't because I love Jonah so much. Like I love Casey too as a character. She was an amazing character to read from. Her growth was so amazing. They were just so in love, as they should. I'll literally be in love with Jonah too. He's like so perfect. Oh my gosh, this book was so sad. It's part of a duet, and I'm pretty sure the next book was actually the book that she had meant to write, but then she felt like she needed to write the backstory to it. Oh my gosh, if the backstory is like, I cannot even imagine what the next book is gonna be like. I'm ready to be flung around by Emma Scott. Oh my god, why did I put this book into this book recognition video? Upset all over again, please. Okay, anyway, that's gonna be all for this video. Those are all the the book recommendations that I have. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them, or if you have any other TikTok books that like delivered and you like them, comment them down below because I would like to know about them. Anyway, that's gonna be all for me. Be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Follow me on all my socials. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Oh my gosh, I need to go study. Stress.